Today, Palantir moved up over 11% in a single trading day. This news came after an announcement that Palantir is partnering with Microsoft. So in this video, we will take a look at that partnership as well as Palantir's most recent earnings announcement. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. As I mentioned, Palantir made a huge move up today, up over 11% in a single trading day. And over the course of the last 5 days, this stock has moved up almost 20%. That includes their earnings announcement, which was on the 5th, where the stock moved up about 13% over the course of the day. From the lows of the day to the highs of the day, the stock actually moved up almost 30%. And the stock has had a tremendous year so far, up 76.6% year to date. That far outpaces the return of the S&P 500, which is up only 12.27% year to date, as well as the NASDAQ, which has returned 11.3% so far this year. And this most recent move up comes after an announcement that Palantir has partnered with Microsoft to sell AI technology to US defense and intelligence agencies. Palantir plans to use this partnership to launch its products such as Gotham, Foundry, Apollo, and AIP on Microsoft's cloud products for government agencies. And obviously, this is a little bit bigger of a deal for Palantir than it is for Microsoft. When you think about Microsoft and the reputation they have as a company, not only with customers, but also the US government, this is a very solid company to partner with. And that is obviously why Palantir has looked to make this partnership. They want to look to build out these connections with companies that are as big as Microsoft and also get their foot in the door with other companies. When we think about Microsoft and some of their partnerships, one of the most recent and most notable partnerships for Microsoft has been with OpenAI and their platform ChatGPT. And this has obviously worked out very well for OpenAI, and Palantir is looking to capitalize on the same thing. And obviously that relationship would be a little bit different between OpenAI and Microsoft versus Palantir and Microsoft, because right now Microsoft owns a portion of OpenAI. They currently don't own any of Palantir. That could potentially change in the future, who knows? But right now it's a little bit different, and I think ultimately Palantir sees this as an opportunity to partner with a much larger company and potentially get their foot in the door with a lot more government contracts as well as commercial customers. And even on their own, Palantir has done a very good job of building out their US government business. For the first time this quarter, it actually surpassed $1 billion and is making up 54% of the company's revenue. Right now, I think that's a very solid split for Palantir. Having half of their revenue coming from government contracts is actually not really a bad thing, especially when the economy potentially takes a slump. Because if we do see that, the government is going to pay out. They are going to continue to pay Palantir, and when you're too heavily based on the commercial space, sometimes that can cause your business to take a larger dip if there is some weakness in the broader economy. Ultimately, investors want to see this deal between Palantir and Microsoft translate to higher earnings for the company. And in their most recent quarter, which was announced on August 5th, they reported EPS of 9 cents and revenue of $678.13 million. And this was a very solid quarter, especially on the top line side. Their total revenue grew 27% year over year. US commercial revenue grew 55% year over year to $159 million. US commercial customer count grew 83% year over year to 295 customers. Even government revenue grew in the 20% range, growing 23% year over year. And in terms of the rule of 40, it actually increased to 64%. When we compare that to last quarter, revenue in the first quarter of this year grew only 21% year over year. US commercial revenue grew only 40% year over year. US commercial customer count grew only 69% year over year. And government revenue grew 16% year over year. And the rule of 40 was sitting at 57%. So all of these major metrics increased quarter over quarter. And when I talk about these numbers, I'm saying only 21% growth, only 40% growth, and only 69% growth. These are massive growth numbers. And the fact that Palantir was able to grow those numbers even more shows that they're able to accelerate their growth moving forward. And this is something that is very exciting for Palantir. If they're able to continue growing at these rates, especially in the commercial space, that is going to be massive moving forward for their top and bottom line numbers. And all of this this is even with Palantir, in my opinion, missing on their US commercial customer count. Year over year, yes, they grew 83%. However, quarter over quarter, they only grew 13%. And if we look at the last 2 quarters, they grew 19% and 22% in terms of their US commercial customer count. So I personally think that they could have actually came in, if the economy was stronger, with a quarter over quarter growth rate of 15 to 20%. And obviously, if we see them bringing in more customers, that will ultimately translate down to more GAAP net income. And we already saw a massive increase in their GAAP net income this quarter, because they went from $105.5 million in the first quarter to $134.1 million in the second quarter. I think if we saw them growing their US commercial customer account by 15 to 20% this quarter, we could have potentially seen this number get into the 140 to 150 range. We've discussed this before on the channel, but as Palantir scales their business, because they are a software as a service business, that software can be more easily translated between customers, which ultimately means that they should expect higher margins. And right now they're sitting at a 37% margin as of Q2 of 2024. If we look back at Q2 of 2023, they were sitting at a 25% margin. So we have seen a 12% increase in their margin in the last year. And I would expect this trend to continue again as they bring in more of these customers and start scaling up their business. Another way of looking at margin plus revenue growth is the rule of 40. That just adds those two percentages together and gives you a number which is known as the rule of 40, which basically states that tech companies want to show a number above 40% when you add their revenue and their margin together. And we have seen Palantir consistently achieving this since Q3 of 2023, and it doesn't appear like they are slowing down anytime soon. And that's even true when you look at the guidance the company announced. They are projecting that revenue in the third quarter will come in between $697 and $701 million. They're expecting their full year 2024 revenue to come in between $2.74 and $2.75 billion, and that US commercial revenue will grow at least 47% year over year. Overall, the last month has been outstanding for Palantir. They came through with great numbers in their most recent earnings announcement. They showed growth that was tremendous across their entire business, as well as provided guidance that was above analyst expectations, not only for the third quarter, but also for the full year. And now they're announcing a partnership with Microsoft, which should help them attract more US government contracts and potentially open the door for US commercial customers. And all of these should be catalysts for Palantir's stock price into the future. And that's why I personally own shares in this company. But keep in mind, do not buy a stock just because I talked about it here on YouTube. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, what did the mama cow say to the baby cow? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.